So how do you let go of somebody without fully giving up? I think those words, it sounds simple enough, right, to let go, but for most men who are going through a breakup, especially one that they didn't choose, it kind of feels like cutting your arm off and just being asked to carry on with your day. You're not just being told to move on, you're being told to let go of something that still matters. To release a grip on a woman who might be the center of your life, even if she's no longer there. And if you're anything like the men that I've worked with over the years, you're stuck in that tension right now. How do I let go of this pain without letting go of hope? How do I move forward without pretending that she just meant nothing to me? And how do I accept reality without losing the possibility that things might still work out? And that's the tightrope, right? And this conversation is about how to walk it. Let's start with what letting go is not. So it's not deleting every photo and pretending that you never loved her. It's not forcing yourself just to get over it by getting drunk, downloading Tinder and, I guess faking a smile for the people around you. And it's definitely not pretending like you're healed when you're still waking up thinking about her every day. Letting go isn't denial, it's discipline. And it starts with understanding the truth. You can let go of attachment while still holding space for love. You can release control over what happens next without erasing the party that still cares. Because here's the real question behind the topic. Are you trying to let go of her, or are you trying to let go of the need for her to come back? Because that's the difference. That's the line that matters. You don't need to forget your partner. You don't need to kill off your feelings. You just need to reclaim the part of you that's outsourcing your peace to whether or not she replies or unblocks you or just changes her mind. So I think letting go is about saying, even if she never comes back, I'm still going to become the man that I promised myself that I would be. Letting go is a shift in posture from waiting to walking. I think if we zoom out for a second, there's a deeper psychological reason why letting go feels impossible for many guys. Letting go feels like losing. All right? And men are wired to fix, to compete, to win. So when something breaks, especially something that you believe that you may have contributed to, it kicks off this deep, the primal urge, I suppose, to make it better, to fix it. And so if you're carrying guilt, regret, or shame about how things ended, the urge becomes our mission. You have to fix it, not just to get it back, but to, I think, redeem yourself, to prove to yourself that you can do better and be better. So letting go just doesn't feel like giving up on the relationship. It feels like you're giving up on yourself, like walking away from the final battle without, I guess, ever swinging your sword. But that's the lie, because this was never a battle. And your partner, she was never the prize. The man that you're becoming is. Letting go is not surrendering to your values, your growth, or even your desire, I suppose, to reconnect down the line. Letting go is surrendering the illusion of control over someone else's timeline, their healing, and their emotions. You can keep walking your path, but her path, that is hers to choose. A man who learns to let go without fully giving up is a man who reclaims his emotional leadership. Because here's what women feel often without even being able to, I think, articulate it. They can tell when your peace is tied to their presence. They can feel when your identity is still hinging on her validation. And when that happens, even if your partner wanted to come back, it becomes emotionally unsafe, because now it feels like responsibility, not intimacy, not love. But when you let her go, I think you release that desperate grip and show that you're capable of standing on your own, not in spite of the pain, but through it. You give your partner something she hasn't perhaps seen in a long time, a man with internal strength, a man who's no longer negotiating with reality. You're not trying to bargain, a man who's not making his own growth conditional on whether she circles back. And that's powerful. That's actually quite attractive. Not in a tactical or a manipulation sense, but it's a human, emotionally grounded way. And your partner, she may not say it, she might not show it yet, but when you truly let go, and I mean in body, not just your words, she feels it, and that shift can open a door that begging, bargaining, over-explaining and texting never could. And look, letting go at first, it's going to feel like you're dying, because in a way, it is. You're letting an old version of yourself die, the one that was trying to hang on like just too tightly, the one that thought love meant control or fixing or just being needed. The one who believed that without her, you were less. And that version of you, I tell you, he needs to go. And in his place, the man that you're becoming gets to rise, not because your partner's coming back, but because you came back to yourself. So if you're sitting there thinking, but I don't want to let it go. What if I lose my chance forever? Let me ask you this. What kind of chance do you want? You want the chance to drag someone back before they're ready or the chance to become somebody, a man that is truly worthy of a second chance. And if it ever comes, well, only one of those is in your control. And the irony, it's usually the second one that actually makes the first possible. Right? So let go, not because you're giving up. Let go because holding on is keeping you stuck. You need to let go because it's the only way forward is through. Letting go, it's not about flipping a switch. It's about unhooking your emotional identity from the outcome. While you're still living in a way that honors how deeply you love that person, you don't need to forget her. You just need to stop basing every thought, every action of yours, and every future possibility on her. All right, so remember, letting go, it does not equal emotional abandonment. A lot of men think that letting go means cold detachment, acting like you don't care, playing the game of, who can move on faster. But that's not strength, that's posturing. Really letting go of somebody, it takes far more strength because you kind of actually have to hold two opposing truths at the same time. That you care deeply, all right? That clinging to her now won't serve you or her. And the second one is the hardest because when your whole nervous system is screaming, but I don't want to lose this person forever, you're not crazy for feeling that way. We're all biologically wired to fear abandonment. We crave closeness with somebody who, once made you feel seen, wanted, and connected. And here's where the work begins. When you realize, I think, that trying to grip tighter only pushes it further, think of it like this. If you're holding a bird in your hand and you hold it too loose, right, you don't hold it tight enough, it's going to fly away. But if you grip it too tightly, well, you're going to crush it, kill the bird. So letting go the right way means opening your palm. It means saying, you know what? I trust that if you choose to come back, it'll be because you want to, not because I'm here holding you. And that's terrifying because it removes your sense of control. We lose control, but it's also the only path that preserves dignity, yours and hers, and also autonomy. It's this kind of surrender. It's not weakness, but surrender goes against everything, right? And most of us men are taught, you need to fix it. You need to fight. You need to do something. So when your partner first pulls away, you're left in silence, and your instinct is to act, is to reach out, to explain, to prove, because doing nothing feels like giving up. But letting go is not doing nothing. It's doing something very hard, just very quietly. And it's also very intentional. It's choosing not to chase. It's choosing not to send that long text. It's choosing not to sit there and replay the past on loop, hoping for a different ending. It's rebuilding a life that doesn't orbit around your partner's approval anymore. All right? And most men stay stuck because they confuse waiting with hope. They say, well, I'm just going to give it time. But they're not changing. They're freezing. Letting go without giving up means you shift from waiting to rebuilding. You're not just passing time hoping that she'll come back around. You're using that time to become the kind of person who wouldn't make the same mistakes again. Not out of guilt, but out of growth. And that's the paradox, right? That version of you, the one who moves with emotional discipline, who holds space instead of applying pressure, that's the version she might feel safe enough to be curious about again. But again, if she doesn't, that's the version you should want to become anyway, because the alternative is repeating the same cycle with somebody else later down the track. And that's not a life, that's a pattern. All right, so let's make this practical. What does it actually look like to let go without fully giving up? Well, I think one, you have to detach from the outcome, not from values. Letting go doesn't mean lowering your standards or walking away from love. It means you stop trying to control the timeline or the story arc. You hold the value of love, you still believe in it, but you're no longer, trying to force it from one specific source, one specific person. And secondly, you've got to channel energy into your structure. Without structure, your mind becomes a trap. So build systems, whether it be your wake time, movements, habits, patterns, clean meals, stillness, not for her, but for you. The discipline becomes your scaffolding when the emotional noise begins to fade. You're going to practice value-aligned connection elsewhere. So use this time to speak more meaningful with other people, and not romantically, just relationally. Let yourself be seen without trying to be impressive. And this will build confidence, emotional fluency. It'll rewire your sense of social safety, which is essential if you've built your entire nervous system around one woman. And you have to rewrite your identity script. You know what I mean? You're the man learning from what cost him that chance and refusing to repeat it. That identity shift is what grounds you through the pain. And there's a guy that I worked with once who kept describing himself as being, I think it was stuck at the station. And he said, I feel like my partner, she was the last train out of here and I missed it. And now I'm just standing here, suitcase in hand, looking like an idiot. But over time, something changed. He stopped standing there. He started walking. He started exploring and building things. And he found that there were other ways out of that place. Just like a bike trail or a bus or even walking out on foot. The station wasn't the only exit. It just felt like it because it was the most familiar. And that's what most guys miss. You might think that she was your only shot at love, at growth, at belonging. But what you really lost was the version of you who didn't know that you could walk yet. Letting go is walking, even if it's slow, even if it hurts, even if every step makes you wonder if your partner will ever look back and see you. But remember, you're not doing this to be seen. You're doing this so that you can see again, clearly, fully, without anxiety or desperation clouding your view and your judgment. Letting go is the hardest thing that many of us will ever have to do, but it's also the most powerful, because the moment you stop making your partner or ex-partner your North Star, you discover how to lead yourself. And that, even if the story ends here, I think it's a chapter worth writing.